Let's take a deep breath together. Welcome to our gathering on a beautiful fall Thursday evening. It is my pleasure to see you all here and to see you out there on Zoom and to see you out there. So I'm Reverend Asha Burson-Johnson. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and it is truly my joy to be with you. So tonight we're going to sing. I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm changing the order just slightly because I'm just doing that because I'm listening to the little whisper in my brain. So we're going to sing, we're going to do our prayers. I'm going to do a very brief talk, and then we're going to walk to the labyrinth. And then we're going to do a labyrinth walk. And then we'll be coming back and we'll sing our closing song, and then we'll have baggie ministry because it's all set up for us to make baggies. So that way we won't break up. We won't do the labyrinth and then do the talk, and then that just feels kind of disjointed. It feels more appropriate to talk a little and then do the labyrinth and then just come back kind of quietly, sing our closing song, complete our evening, and then do baggie ministry. So that's kind of where we're at for right now. If something else changes, I'll let you know. So I'm going to invite us to read our vision and our mission, which is on the back of the folded part of your program. Our vision. We are an open, safe, creative, affirming, and thriving spiritual community where we experience divine love and connection every day. Our mission. Through spiritual, artistic, and social gatherings, we experience and express divine love. Our intentions create ripples of compassion into the world. Yeah, our words are not there. That's what's missing. That's very strange. Well, we're just going to make it up here. Yes, we've sung them a few times. It's not hard. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Love, what do we got there? Love, peace, joy, power, back to love. And anything else I may throw in there. All right, here we go. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy, peace over the mountain. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Joy. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Power. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. Love. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns, and it returns to me. One more time. And it returns to me. Lovely. Light Sky to do its opening reading. A brief time of silence, which I will bring out with the crystal bowl, an opening prayer, and then he will lead us in our affirmation. Sky.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So today's quote is from Thomas Aquinas, and I'll read it twice. Unmitigated seriousness betokens a lack of virtue, because it wholly despises play, which is as necessary for the good human life as rest. unmitigated seriousness betokens a lack of virtue, because it wholly despises play, which is necessary for a good human life, as is rest. So this evening I sit here and I think of how our lives are currently affected by this coronavirus, and how our daily actions are affected in myriad of ways. And it's easy to get caught in some rhythms that don't fully support ourselves, to let things like play actually fall out of our lives. When right now we need that kind of energy more than ever. We need to laugh. We need to have fun. We need to find our hearts open. We need to allow ourselves to express our freedom and our joy. We deserve that in every moment, and it's always available. And so I stand today with you, and I know full and well that each and every one of us has in every moment access to that play, access to that joy, access to that freedom. So I support you in standing in that place and bringing it to your life and sharing it with the people around you. Bring exhilaration and exuberance to the people you love and to yourself. You deserve it, and so do they. And so it is.
And so
So
it
it
is.
is.
Thank you, Sky.
Very cool.
Want to lead us in our affirmation?
I will. Okay, everybody ready? Every part
Of life is part of the game. Each part contributes to movement in the game. I accept myself as I am and play with love, joy, and peace in each now moment of the game. So take a deep breath. I was saying we're going to go a little bit out of order because it felt weird to go do the labyrinth, come back, do a talk, and then come back in. And so we're going to talk for a little bit. Then we're going to go do the labyrinth. Then we'll come back and do our closing song. And then we'll do baggy ministry, which
Cool.
Nancy Witten got for us today.
All right.
So this idea of the game has been noodling around in my brain because of my lovely husband. And so I was last week was putting Richard to bed, and I had this wave of grief for my dad just wash over me. It was not a bad thing. It was just like, oh, there he is right there in front of me. And in the way I can care for Richard, I didn't really get to take care of my dad that way because he was in California. You know, the last time I saw him, I'd gotten him all installed at an assisted living place, and then I had to leave. It was a really weird thing leaving him there. Felt like I was leaving my baby at daycare forever, you know. It was very weird. So anyway, I had this feeling, and then I noticed when I got back to the house a little while later, I just felt kind of out of balance, out of sorts, and I was a little bit edgy. And I said to my beloved husband, "I'm sorry, honey, I'm just a little off my game." And he said, no, you're not. It's all the game. You can't be off your game. It's all the game. All feelings are part of the game. And I said, this is why I married you. Yet another reason why I married you. Because he's right. It's all part of the game. And this is what we've been having lots of conscious and continuous conversation about, allowing ourselves to feel what we feel and know that that's okay. Not to get sucked into it or drown in our feelings, but allow ourselves to feel them, to feel the grief, to feel the pain. Oh, I've got some pain right now. I've got some edginess. I've got some angst or whatever. That's that human part of us. And as Premdaya shared with us so beautifully, and I did on Monday night at our meditation, I accept myself as I am in this now, and I surrender in love, joy, and peace in this now. And that's been just beating my heartbeat for the last couple weeks. I accept myself as I am. It doesn't mean we're going to stay there or not going to move out of this place. When I can accept that everything that's happening is part of the great game, and we're just little, tokens. We could be the iron or the cat or the car, on the playing board of life, but something else is in charge of this big game, and we're just a little part of it. And we can play the game with joy and playfulness and curiosity, which I also speak about a lot, or get really serious about it. This is a very serious game. And yes, it is life and death. Ultimately, it is life and death. Whatever's going on right now is always life and death. But it's always been life and death, because that's all there is. We're born, we live, we die. We're all terminal. So what do we want to do in the moments that we have? I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying, yeah, we forget that, what's occurring is geologic time. And we don't really live in geologic time. We're like a mayfly. We live for 3 days in geologic time, and then we're gone. We're just a little dust mote in the cosmos. And I heard on the radio the other day on CBC a guy talking about he loves studying the universes, the cosmos, and the person who was interviewing him said, doesn't that make you feel really small? He said, well, you'd think that, because we are. When they do those pictures of here's Earth, and then they go way, 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 way back, and we're just the tiniest dust mote in the universe. And he said what's been fascinating is in studying the cosmos, especially in the last 10 years or so, is to recognize that Earth is very specifically unique. And that the balance of the fact that we have one moon and not several keeps our planet's rotation fairly stable. So we have seasons, and compared to all other planets that they've found so far, including other systems, we have a very narrow band of temperature. We don't think about that as human beings. We think, oh, it's freezing or it's boiling, the Sahara to the Antarctic. But compared to other places, we have a very narrow band of temperature which allows life to exist. And the right combination of, gases and oxygen and all these things that have occurred to create this particular planet and the beings on it. All of it. Not just people, but all the beings on this planet. It's very unique. So he said, on the one hand, I feel very small, but on the other hand, I feel very special because we're here on this amazing, unique rock floating through space. So, I've been kind of playing with this idea of, close up in my life. How am I this today? How am I in this moment? How am I right now? And then, take a look back on the long arc of my life, which again isn't that long compared to most things, compared to mountains and oceans, rocks. Even rocks eventually turn to sand. They get worn away by the eons and life and experience and weather. So what do I want to do in this game? What do we want to do in this game? And how seriously do we want to take it? I've noticed in this time since February, I go through periods of being very serious. And that's just so not like me. Most of you know me pretty well. I generally I generally see the lighter side of life. Somebody that I know posts on Facebook and occasionally will post something, kind of making light of whatever's going on. He's going through cancer treatments, and that could be really heavy. And occasionally he'll just see the humorous side of what he's dealing with in life and post that. And somebody will be like, oh, you're not taking it seriously. He's like, no, I'm not, because you can't do that all the time. And I notice how I've gotten serious in times, and I My sense of humor is just like, I become literal, very literal, like just don't joke around with me, just give me the answer I'm looking for. And I know when I'm getting really, really serious, then I'm off my normal way of being, but that's okay too. It's just another part of my beingness, expressing, being serious. I'm being serious today. The other night at dinner, Richard said, "You're being very quiet." And I said, "I know. I just was very quiet that night. And I didn't feel like having dinner chit-chat. And so I didn't. And that was okay. That was okay. To just be how we are, and always add the and know that this is momentary. Even all this that's going on is momentary. In this moment, right now, we're here, we're safe, we're healthy-ish. We are how we are, but we're here in this space together, even through time and space, through the amazing technology of Zoom. And we're probably most of us not hungry. And all over the world, there are people suffering and hungry and homeless, and that's always been the way of it. So, are there things we can do? Then we can discover them. We can see what's pulling us. What is mine to do today? I have a deep, not a concern, but I have a deep desire to make sure people get fed. That's important to me. So we do the little free pantry. That's something I can do. We can do baggie ministries. We kind of let that fall by the wayside during this time. And just in the last week, I've had 3 people say, "When are we going to do that again?" I said, "Well, I guess we're doing it now." Because it seems like, this is a good time. Again, it's getting colder out. Definitely a time to spread some more love and consciousness and good food. And to see things going out of the little free pantry and things coming into the little free pantry that I haven't put in there is such a joy. Every time I walk to the mailbox, I'm like, ooh, what's going to be gone today? What's going to be in there that I didn't put in there? And it's always a surprise to me. And I'm surprised that I'm surprised, because there is this inherent goodness in us as humanity, an inherent goodness. So I want to focus on that part of the game. There was a whole series of games that were out there in the world, and I'm sure they still exist. And there were games where nobody ever was a loser. And I thought at some time in my life that maybe that's something I should do as a profession, is go and help run these games, these fun, interactive. It's much like when I do my improv class. The games we play, there's really no loser. There's just, you're not in the circle anymore, you're in the center. Or you're not in the center anymore, you're in the circle. But nobody is a loser or gets kicked out of the game at any point. Everybody always gets to play, no matter what. And these games were designed like that, so that you could always be a part of the game. And I really love that. There doesn't have to be a winner and a loser in any game that we play. There can just be people playing. Because when kids play, they don't really focus on winning and losing. They just play. Okay, I'm going to be this, and you're going to be that, and we're going to pretend. And then they do. And sometimes one of them is a bad guy, and sometimes one of the other person is the bad guy. My friends and I, our garage kind of looked like this room, actually. Our garage in our house, at some point in my life, was set up like a den because my dad was in law school, and that's where he and his buddies would study. But when they were gone during the day, my friends and I would play in there, and it became our haunted house. And we were orphans that had run away from the orphanage. And I was always a boy, and I don't know why. I don't know why we even needed a boy. But for some reason, I was always the boy. The boy. I don't think I ever even had a name. I just was the boy. Sometimes I was the boy who was already living in the haunted house. I don't know. But it's what we do, right? As kids, we make up stories. What if this? What if that? What if there was an apartment in a treehouse? What if I could just sell my van? What if I could sell a couple more paintings? What if? What if I could be my own publisher? Oh, let's play with that idea. What if? What if I don't know how I'm going to get a car? And then suddenly, how to get the car shows up. This is the game that somehow our soul has agreed to play this particular time around. Our soul made an agreement before it came into this particular form that this is the game it was going to play this time. We're all going to be white. We're all going to be fairly, middle class-ish. We're all going to have privilege. We're all going to be living this life with every single part of it included. So what would you leave out? It seems so easy to say, well, I'd take this part of my life out. I'd erase that part of my life. I'd take that out. And then, but then who would you be? You wouldn't be you. You wouldn't know what you know today. People say, oh, I wish I was 20. I'm like, hell no, exactly. No way. I mean, I was cute and I was skinnier. I never thought I was, but so what? I was dumb. I was ignorant. I was not dumb by any stretch, but I was ignorant. And I was narcissistic. That was that part of my life, as it should be, as it was supposed to be. So here we are in this game, in this spiral of life. And we get to pick how we're going to play. Serious or just for fun. What are we going to do today? I was cleaning a lot. I've been cleaning and organizing to make space for my friends to have room and feel like, they had their own shelves in the cupboard for their cereal and their special food. And, the guest room is emptied out, which means I got to go through all kinds of stuff. Cleaning and organizing was a great way to spend some time and feel accomplished in this time of nothing else to do. And clear books off of bookshelves, send them out into the world, get them to be loved by somebody else. And while I was doing all of that, we have a little storage area off of our deck on the back. And I found a trampoline, a little personal trampoline. I think it was Richard's. But it's been sitting for 4 years, gathering dust in this little cubby space. And I thought, ooh, a trampoline, that'd be fun. So it's now in my living room, cleaned off, dusted off, and I go in there every night, and maybe for just a couple of minutes, and I just jump up and down.
So cool.
And it doesn't hurt my knees because it's got that soft bounce. I'm not jumping on the ground. I'm jumping on this thing that has a little bit of a give. It feels like it's holding me, which is good. But it's fun. It moves energy. That's what we're talking about. All these next months is about getting our energy to move. So it moves energy up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's kind of fun. I look out in the backyard. I wonder if, can the deer see me and wonder what the heck's going on?
That's what that little fawn came over.
Yeah, like what the heck's going on in there? So can we discover some fun? There is a miniature golf course in Port Angeles. Yes. Will and I are going to go sometime this weekend because we want to support it. Yeah. It's where the quarry used to be. It's on front as you're going into town. On the left-hand side, there's a place that used to be called the Quarry, which is now across from Walmart. But it's a big parking space, and then there's kind of a low brick building next to it. But it's kind of in this enclosed parking area, and it kind of looks like if you just glance by as you drive, like there's a bunch of junk in there. But clearly like a construction zone. But clearly they've made a course out of all kinds of interesting things. Larry, you should definitely go with us. And that would be super fun to play miniature golf. I mean, we have a friend of a friend who every year on their 10-acre property, they set up a miniature golf course on their property. We went over there, and every year, every hole is different. They spend the whole winter planning the holes and what they're going to do. So there'll be a Alice in Wonderland hole, and there'll be a musical hole, and and so they spend all winter, and she finds things at thrift stores, makes things, paints stuff, makes all the little but they've got the basic setup with the holes and the ramps and all that, and then they just customize it every year. They set it all up. It's up all summer long, and then they put it away at the end of the year. It's a big labor of love. We've gone a couple of times, and it was fun. And she got that because all her life, she's wanted a miniature golf course. Her whole life.
Wow.
And somehow when they moved up here, and somehow through some conversations, her niece said, "Can we get married on your property?" And she said, "Yeah." And then her niece sent her this crazy statue. I don't even remember what it was. It was like a giraffe in a tutu or something. And she said, "This is for your miniature golf course because I want at least one hole when we get up there." So she's like, "Well, my husband knows how to build stuff, but he's not going to want to build me a miniature golf course." He had too many projects on deck. So she said, "Well, I'm going to go to the library, and I'm just going to see, I'm going to build it," because she's handy. She said, "I'm going to build myself. I'm going to go see if there's a book on how to build a miniature golf." So she's talking to the librarian, "Is there any books on miniature golf course?" You're like, "No." She said, "But I know this guy, and he's got a miniature golf course for sale."
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Again, what are the odds, right? But because you speak your dream, you put it out into the world, and you never know who's going to know somebody who knows somebody who knows them. So she meets this person, and he says, "Oh, yeah, I've got this whole golf course. I built it for my family. I thought my kids would love it." They played it like twice and then never touched it again. So she said, "Well, can I buy 9 holes?" And he's like, "Sure." So he delivers 9 holes to her property, and they set them up, and that year they did 9 holes. And after the first year, everybody that came said, "Oh, you need 18 holes. You can't have 9 holes." So she's like, "Well, I don't know." So she calls him back. She goes, "Do you still have it?" And he said, "Oh, no, I knew you'd want the other half. I saved it for you." I knew you weren't going to be satisfied with just 9 holes. So ever since then, every year, this huge labor of love, but they have more fun. They've got the clubs. They've got multicolored balls. It's magical.
Oh.
So I invite us all to go. Maybe we'll do an outing. And maybe we'll say, "Hey, let's go do a CSLPA golfing," and I'll find out more about it and get the details and let you guys know. But that would be fun.
That would be really
Just silly, mindless, childlike fun.
Yeah.
What else can we do that's fun? We can skip stones. We can dance. We can play hide and seek. I mean, think about, I love jacks. How many people love jacks? I used to love to play jacks.
I was very bad at it. Everybody else could do it but me.
Oh.
I would just sit there.
Somebody posted on Facebook, you guys think you got a bad stepping on Legos. Well, and then they showed a jack set. That's what we had to go through when we were children. That's what our parents had to deal with. So think about what you might be able to do that's part of a fun game for you. What's fun to you? What makes you feel that sense of childlike joy? So I'm going to invite us to go to the labyrinth. I've got candles marking the path, and I've got a flashlight by the door, and also another flashlight at the corner of the garage. So because it's definitely gotten darker out now, so I made sure we had enough light to see what we were doing. So I'm going to invite us to walk the labyrinth. So I'm going to invite us to go down in quiet, but you don't have to be serious about this labyrinth walk. So you go in quiet and go within yourself, but you don't have to do this seriously. And one of the ways to use a labyrinth is you can't get lost. It's not a maze. You can only go in one way and you go out the same way. And one of the ways that we suggest, or that I think is a good way to do it, is one good way, is that on the way in, you're thinking about, what is it I want to let go of? What am I ready to release? And it might be something big, and it might be something small, and it might be 5 or 6 things as you're going around the corners of the path. Just kind of let it come to you. What am I letting go of? And then pause at the center. There's a stump there. If you want to sit on the stump for little bit, do that. If there's more than one person coming into the center, it's not very big, so be just mindful of each other. We will wait, and one person will start going in, and then let them get kind of through the first couple lines before you go in, so that there's space between everybody going through the labyrinth. And there's chairs around the edge, so if you happen to be waiting or you're done early, just know that you're welcome to take a seat if you'd like to. But I really want to have each of us witness each other as we go through. And once you've paused in the center, then think about, what do I want to now accept? When we let go of something, when we release something, we want to choose playfully, what do I want to accept in its place? What do I want to replace that with? So that we're not just leaving it up to something to float in and latch on. So it's an intention. I'm intentionally letting go of these ideas or this behavior or this thinking or my fears or whatever it is that you're wanting to let go of today. And then on the way back, what is it I'm ready to receive? What is it I'm filling myself up with? How am I filling myself up with more joy, more love, more peace, especially now? Especially with all that the world wants to throw at us to knock us off, to take us out of that. What I'm hearing from many people that are running for elections is that we together are strong. We can do this. We can heal this. We can work together as human beings. So that's what I want us to think about while we're going through these next kind of tumultuous weeks and months and whatever else is going on. Interdependence is the key word for the day. We've done independence, most of us, very effectively. Interdependence. We need each other. We need to take care of each other because we are connected to each other. So can we focus on how we are one? It's so easy to get pulled off into how we are not one. How are we one? How are we united? Where do we rest and play in common? So take a breath. So welcome back. We had a lovely labyrinth walk. I'm glad you could join us in your mind and in person for some of you. So Catherine is going to share a beautiful song with us.
do that with people drumming,
Mm,
so you can just get lost in it. I do that.
Sure.
thank you.
So this is my time. And Asha said I could tell you guys I finally got my CDs.
Woo-hoo!
The summer project, my first official professionally produced CDs. And Michael did this. We worked all summer working in he has a studio at his house. And so anyway, these are for sale. They're $10 a piece. If anyone's interested, it's got most of the songs you've heard me play here. And some you haven't heard me play here.
Yeah,
So,
and all arranged, and Michael's playing guitar on them and
yeah,
adding
guitar.
production and all
I
kinds of
did
stuff.
lead vocals and lead guitar, and he did guitar, bass, drums, and vocals.
Wow.
So it's really produced. I mean, it sounds really great. He did it.
Open up my heart like a rose. Let the love flow out and in. Turn off the mind that thinks it knows where I'm going and where I've been. Oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om. Open up my heart like a rose. Let the love flow out and in. Turn off the mind that thinks it knows where I'm going and where I've been. Oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om, oh mane padme om. Open up my heart like a rose. Let the love flow out and in. Turn off the mind that thinks it knows where I'm going and where I've been. Oh mane padme om, 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 oh mane padme om. Yay! Thank you. We'll see you next time.